Hey guys, we're back in the world. Have not hopped on here in a long time. I really had a lot of stuff to talk about, to be fair, so that's probably why I haven't. But kind of want us to give a little bit of an update, stuff that's been going on, maybe help someone out. Um, so a big lesson that I've been learning recently is, you just gotta trust the process. And the main thing is, well, I have, you know, decided to start following Christianity again, which I kind of grew up in the church. I know this might not be like the greatest for the algorithm, you know, tra- talking about religion, whatever. But, I don't really care. I kind of do these videos as a journaling method for myself, and also see if it can help like anyone else. So I don't really care too much. It's gonna be less views, but I decided to follow the church more and actually follow Christianity. So I think that's been really good for me. I found a whole group back in college, which I was doing a lot with loneliness, which that's the first video on my channel if you want to check it out. I was doing a lot with that. And I still sometimes do it very occasionally, but not really because I kind of got connected with the church group, got connected with old friends because there was a couple of them that I used to be friends with for like a year ago at the beginning of college that I haven't talked to in a long time. So I connected with him, connected with the Bible study group and everything. So I think that was really awesome. And the biggest lesson I kind of want to talk about that I'm still struggling with right now in this time in my life, and also just in general, is just trusting the process and trusting God's timing, trusting His timing. Because the thing is that we try to take it into our own hands, and we try to take it like we try to make everything happen on our own timing in our own way. When sometimes the best thing to do is just wait. Like there's this verse in it's Proverbs 3:5, and it's trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not rely on your own understanding. I think this is the one that I try to, I just recently was like looking for verses that kind of reflect this timing that I'm going through. And this is like one of the first ones that popped up. So I'm trying to, you know, remind myself of this since it's something I've really been struggling with. And yeah, I think it's a really good reminder because a lot of things are not in your control. Like even you're gonna do this like non-biblically, right? I have really bad anxiety, and had bad anxiety ever since I like started being lonely. Like, and had like my first panic attack back in like November. And just in general, like there's a lot of things in the future that you can't control. Like you can have like some sort of like medical thing that comes up, right? And like maybe it hasn't happened yet, but like there's like a chance of it. You don't know. Like you can't control that. There's nothing you can do about that. You just have to keep living your life. You have to keep living, you know, you just have to keep living in general and not let stuff like that, eat at you and consume you because that's when it's going to be, that's when it's going to get just it's just going to be keep getting worse if you let that happen. So, um my biggest thing is, so wait, I should probably put that there and that there. Yeah, there we go. I don't know why my FPS is dropping, but basically, uh, let me get myself back on track here. I would say the best thing is you just gotta learn, you know, how to just trust in God, how to trust in Him, and if you're not religious and you're not really thinking about it that way, that's fine. Obviously, I encourage you to give it a try, see what it's like for you. I encourage you to do that. But if it's not, I'll even try to I'll try to make this like a lesson a bit more general, I guess. I don't really know the way to say it. But I think it's great to. I should also probably sleep low key because there's a lot of. I think it's great to just, sometimes the best thing you can do is wait because I'll give you kind of what's been going on for me. I've been struggling with, chronic anxiety. I'm not actually diagnosed, but like I'm pretty sure I have it. Um, I've been struggling with that due to like, academics. My job search hasn't been going well. And the big thing is that, I met this girl at my like church thing, right? And she's like great. There's nothing like wrong. There's nothing like wrong with her. It's just the big thing that kind of like made me realize in this period of waiting is we met like end of April and we started talking. Things are going well. We hung out a few times. We got along really well, but the issue is that she's had a lot of just past trauma in general, and she's dealing with a lot of really bad mental health. You know, what's it called? Mental health like issues, and so I kind of just decided myself it's just not the time to try to push anything. So that's kind of what happened with that. But obviously it's really hard because you kind of meet someone that you get along with, and it seems like you guys both get along with each other, but it's just not the right time. That's kind of the biggest thing that I've been dealing with recently is because you know you want to get to know that person. You want to get to see if like something more could be there, but you're kind of forced not to do that because just circumstances in general, which I'm not going to put that. I mean it's not her fault anyways. It's not her fault at all because I also have my own stuff that I'm dealing with, and also her mental health issues aren't based off of like things that she controlled. It's not her fault that the things that happen that kind of feed into that happened to her. She didn't do anything to deserve those things. So I don't really put the blame on her whatsoever. But it still sucks because obviously like the beginning, normally like the beginning when you meet each other is like it's like considered like the honeymoon phase in a way, like where everything's fun, like you're always hanging out with that person. Nothing's really, but like it's kind of annoying whenever you get it. Not annoying, but it's kind of upsetting when you get into the whole thought about having to deal with a lot of issues like really early on. Which, I mean, I guess in a way you could say, okay, if you don't like at the beginning, if it's not easy, like it's just not meant to be. Which I mean, in a way, I guess that's true, but at the same time, I don't know. I kind of always struggle with people that say that. Say, yeah, if it's like not super easy at the beginning, then it's not meant to be. Like, yeah, it's in a way that's true, but at the same time, like when it comes to a situation that I'm dealing with, and maybe one of you guys watching are dealing with, where like you kind of met someone, or you're in like maybe a job opportunity where you're putting in that work to, maybe you're putting that work to find a job, right? And you're applying places, you're doing interviews and stuff like that. You just still can't get a job, so you're kind of forced to just keep waiting on replies and stuff. Like it's kind of the same thing when it comes to maybe like talking to someone. It's just clearly not the right time because something's going on. So what I what I've come to what I've come to learn is even though it's super hard to do it, you have to learn how to cope with those feelings. You have to learn how to learn from them in general. Like you should never get into the point now if it gets to the point where this is kind of what I told myself. It gets to the point where, like, when I'm waiting, not waiting, but when I'm kind of just, what's the right word for it? I guess it is kind of a period of waiting in a way, where I'm kind of just like waiting for me and her to get through our things that we're both clearly dealing with and they're both clearly eating away at us. Um, Actually, low key, I kind of want to make these logs instead of planks. I feel that'd look cooler. Um, Yeah, when you're in that period, it should never be like your sole focus. That's the biggest thing. That's if any of you guys are going through a similar situation, make sure you got stuff to do and things to do to get your mind off of it. Because if you're just always like doing nothing, and I'm not gonna lie, like I've been really bad. I've been really bad with this recently. It's like if you're all you're gonna do is just like kind of sit at home or do whatever and just be with yourself, not really talk about your feelings with anyone, not go out and like work out or hang out with friends or do a hobby you enjoy. Like you're just gonna be sitting with your feelings all the time. You shouldn't ignore your feelings, but you shouldn't sit in your feelings all the time where it eats away at you. That's the biggest thing, is that you do not want to get to the point where you're in like a period of waiting and it starts eating away at you and it starts becoming the only thing you think about. If you're at that point, you should just try to fully let it go, because clearly it's not doing you any good. Like, okay, like my situation when it comes to like a girl, right? If you're in a situation where you're waiting for that girl, right? And like like it could definitely be something. They said that like there's the I don't know. This is kind of hard to talk about because people always talk about like, oh, like girls saying, oh, I'm not ready for a relationship right now. Like that normally obviously means like I'm not gonna ever be ready for a relationship with you. But like the thing is like I feel like this situation's a bit different compared to that, because I'm not gonna say anything that she's gone through. I feel like that's just really just messed up in my opinion. I don't want to get into that because that's not fair to her. Even though she's probably never gonna see this video, I still just don't think that's fair to her whatsoever. But like, just given her circumstances, it's it's kind of like it's just a bit different of a situation, because a lot of girls use it as a cope out, like a cope, not a, I mean cop out, not cope, like a cop out way of just saying, yeah, I'm not interested in you. But the thing is that I still think that she she is interested. It's just clearly not the right time for her, because I mean like when we had that conversation, like it was in person. She said she still wanted to hang out with me, but like I didn't really want to. Like I was thinking about it, but like especially after she kind of shared everything she's been going through, like it's definitely just not the right time to even hang out, even as friends. Like I just don't want to be. I don't want to add any extra stress to her life. I don't want to add any extra stress to my life worrying about it. Obviously I'm still going to worry about it. I mean, it's normal to worry about things, but that also comes to another thing. When it comes back to Christianity and what I believe in, is that you should always be trying to give your anxiety and your, what's it called? Your anxiety and your worries and stress and all this stuff, you should be giving it all to God. You should be giving it all to, you know, Jesus. And I think that's just a really great thing, because eventually you realize, you can't do this on your own. I feel like that's a thing that I was trying to do for so long. I feel like that's what kind of brought me back towards Christianity, is that, especially if you can see in some of my older videos, like those are during like the very beginning when I started following Christianity again. I wasn't like still fully about it. You can tell like I was trying to get every single thing in my favor. I was trying to take advantage of every single thing and trying to like, control everything. But that's just not something you can do. It's just not possible. So, you know, I'm sorry if it's like kind of sounding like I'm trying to, for anyone that's like not, like doesn't believe in Christianity, doesn't follow that religion. I'm sorry if it tries to like seem like I'm trying to force it onto you. I promise I'm not trying to force it onto you. Obviously, I encourage you to, take a look into it and look into it and stuff like that. Like see if it is for you. Obviously, obviously I encourage that, but I don't want to make this sound like I'm trying to force it onto you. But um yeah, I think it just feels different compared to like other, because I've had friends that have dealt with the I'm not ready for a relationship thing, and just the way that they kind of act and stuff like that. Like I could tell right when we had this like conversation in person about like all the stuff she's been going through. I could tell right away like her energy was very different compared to what it has been. Like compared to what it normally is. Really, she's normally just a really awesome. She's normally just a really awesome and like I don't know the right word for it. I mean, just like I don't know if happy's like the right word, but she kind of like I don't know how to explain it. She kind of like radiates that like or just like positive like happy kind of energy. But like you can normally tell like when it's someone that you're friends with for a while or someone that you care about or whatever. You can normally tell when something's off with them. And I literally felt that like instant. Like I could tell something was wrong. And the fact that she wanted to share it with me and stuff like that. The fact that she even said like she felt better after she shared it with me. And like I said, it obviously sucks and it's upsetting. Like obviously the situation, but also the fact that you're not really going to be talking. Like the next time I'll probably talk to her is 2.5 months, and you never know what's going to happen because I'm really getting off topic here when it comes to like my main goal in this video is saying like trusting the process. That's obviously my main goal. I'm kind of getting a bit off topic here, but that's kind of a part of this. It's kind of a part of this channel. I kind of just talk and kind of see what I end up with, I guess. But um, what am I even doing here? What am I doing here? Am I just like building? I don't know what I'm doing. We'll see how this looks at the end. This could look tough, maybe, I don't know. Um, but yeah, I mean, I could tell that things were off. Like, I'm happy that she felt, comfortable sharing that with me, and I believe that, if, God willing, if like she is the one that God wants me to pursue, like I think eventually it will work out. Cause like the difference with me when it comes to the few girls that I have talked to is she was like the other girls I ended off in like bad terms with, right? Where I just placed glass. Um but yeah, I ended off bad terms with the other two girls that I talked to where I didn't end off with bad terms with her, so it's kind of like it's kind of different cuz like something still could happen. Like I'm basically unless like she just stops going or like doesn't come back, like I'm guaranteed to see her in like 3 months. So like hopefully we're both in a better mind state and stuff like that where we can actually like try to do something, try to be try to get to know each other better without the mind blocks that we're dealing with. So that's kind of like my main goal I'm trying to talk about in this video is like you always got to trust the timing, you got to trust the process. Because you could just be in a season of waiting. That's normal. I mean, everyone's gonna be in certain seasons in life, and you're not gonna always be able to take You're not gonna always be able to take full control of everything in your life. That's just impossible. Like there's some things in your like, especially like God forbid you get like a sickness or whatever. There's nothing you can really do about that. It just happens, unfortunately. Like you get an illness or whatever. Like a lot of stuff in life you can't control, and you have to be content with that, and you have to just trust that everything will be better in the end because it will be. Like I was doing a really bad loneliness. I was doing with a lot of mental health issues. I still am, but it wasn't the same as like loneliness and stuff like that. But I can tell you that the whole loneliness like aspect of my life has gotten so much better since I made that video. I've had a I've gotten a group that I connected with. I met a lot of awesome friends, people. Obviously I met that girl. Unfortunately, we're kind of on like a hiatus right now because, we're both dealing with a lot of stuff mentally and we don't want to, you know, stress each other out and possibly hurt each other. At least that's how I look at it. I don't know exactly how she looks at it because obviously, like I said, I haven't talked to her since we had that conversation, and I don't want to because I don't want to, stress her out and make her feel like even more worried in general. But yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is don't don't try not to stress about stuff. I know how hard it is, trust me. I've been there. I think I think a lot of you guys have been there. Like it's so much easier said than done, and trust me, I'm still struggling with it. But you gotta learn how to, cope with it and how to deal with it in general, because if you're just gonna always be thinking about it, always be anxious about it, that's just gonna eat away at you and it's just gonna make it worse. And then it gets to a point where it's just not worth it anymore to even worry about it. So if you ever get to that point, just try to stop it there, because that can leave you spiraling down to a lot of places you don't want to be at all. And, you know, I think that's kind of all I wanted to talk about here. I'm sorry I didn't really have the greatest, like I said, I do these unscripted, so I'm sorry I didn't have like the greatest thing to say, or like the greatest, script, because I don't have a script, but the greatest like storytelling aspect. Let me know if there's anything else you want me to talk on. I'll 100% make another video, like no matter what, if I have something else I want to talk about. And this house doesn't look that bad. It's kind of tough. I kind of like the ceiling I'm doing. It's actually really reminiscent of the room I'm in right now, which is like my family room, which is kind of funny. Kind of have these like wood beams in the house, literally right above me as we speak. But yeah, I hope you guys are all doing amazing. Have an amazing day or night whenever you guys are watching this, and God bless, guys.